Testing. Testing. Today is November 23rd, year 2023. And we are at the Togetherness Meditation Hall at Blue Cliff Monastery on Thanksgiving Day. Can you hear me well? Okay, just sit comfortably and just follow our breathing and relax while we listen to the three sounds of the bell. Dear Thầy, dear Sangha, dear friends, welcome to Thanksgiving Day. I think this is a season when we give thanks to many blessings, many things that we have. We have a wonderful meditation here, meditation hall, and our friends are coming for today and also the weekend to practice with us. I've been here now for maybe 16 years now, of 16 Thanksgiving every year. So this year I got the chance to share with you. I think I feel blessed in the sense that I come from a very kind family. My parents are very kind, and they live in harmony together. I guess they got married for more than 55 years until my father passed away. So I think I learned a lot of love and kindness, compassion from them, from my parents. And I got a decent, good education. My father sent me to a bilingual school. So I learned French and Vietnamese when I was very young. I grew up during the war in Vietnam, so that's another not so good part, but relatively I escaped a lot of suffering and horror, while many of my compatriots, many people receive a lot of more suffering than I do. And I jumped the boat on April 30th, 1975. And it was a time of war, a lot of shooting, and the South Vietnam become communist. So I decided I jumped the boat to go overseas. Basically, my elder brother sister got sent overseas to study in Europe, in Switzerland, in France. So I wanted to join them, but because of the war, I couldn't go. So I decided just to leave the country. So it was daring, and I was a boat people, a refugee, and I become an immigrant coming to the U.S. I settled most of the time in Philadelphia. as soon as I get the chance, I become a U.S. citizen. So I feel the same. I'm lucky. I get a second country opportunity. I got some education. I end up working in banking for a while. So I look back at my younger siblings. Many people are immigrants. They're both people. They try to come to the U.S. to find some opportunity, some future for their children. And my sibling also tried to get a green card, to try to get visa to stay in the U.S. Often they have to return to Vietnam. Meanwhile, I seem to breeze through life with not too much difficulty. Maybe I. So you see in the board, I was a fairly successful banker. I put people together in the deal import-export. Back in the time, there's no internet. So I used my foreign language to interact with different people and put people together and facilitate by maybe lending to the borrower and put the deal together for them. But I think there seems to be something missing in the spirituality. I always want to look for something meaningful in life, but I couldn't really find it. And I think I was sitting with the Quaker community at 15 Cherry, and I think one day I saw a poster that said that Thich Nhat Hanh is giving a talk at the center. He gave another talk at Hahnemann University, and then I decided to come to the Quaker Center to listen to him. So I met Thầy in 1993, and I was very touched by his demeanor, how he carry himself, how he speak with a soft voice, and how he touched directly to our heart when he speak. So I bought 10 books and I started to read. And the more I read, I say, well, this is how I want somebody to explain Buddhism to me, to the Dharma. So I started to come to retreat. I joined the Sangha, and I did it for several years until I decided that it's good for me to quit my job and become a monk. So I learned a lot from our teacher, very good Dharma, because I think before I studied with other teacher, but it doesn't click, it doesn't go deep into the heart. So for me, it's wonderful, and for many years I work with many local Sangha. I help to build them. Any Sangha from Plum Village liking, I try to come and help them to set up the Sangha. And later on, I become a monk, so I joined a monastic community. So I've been a monk now more than 20 years. And I feel a lot of companionship, a lot of support for my practice. Basically, we practice mindfulness, concentration, and insight. But every facet of life, every walk of life, we will keep practicing all day long. So we can water ourselves the seed of joy and happiness. And I'm glad I'm able to share the Dharma to help others overcome their suffering, their mental formation, and line up their load, and maybe learn how to be joyful and happy every moment. And I'm blessed in the sense I'm relatively healthy body and healthy mind. Of course, you try not to get involved in too many negative things, negative thinking. And I try to walk a lot, and I like to swim, so that's my exercise, So I introduced to the word serendipity. It kind of complicated word. It's like a series of circumstances that happen that somehow they have connection. Even it happened by chance, but somehow they have a deep connection. So I think to me, it happened to me a few times. That's why I want to share it. So in Buddhism, we have a word they call codependent arising. I like the word that my teacher usually say. They say chư tổ sắp đặt. That means the spiritual ancestor has already planned for you. Like I think my meeting with our teacher is somehow it has been planned. And the other one is called resonance, which is in physics, something like that. It vibrates, another thing, it happened at the same time. Or the serial line-up coincidence of things happening. So what I'm sharing with you, it happened to me for the last 2 months. And I learned around the end of July that there are 2 Vietnamese filmmakers. They want to come to Blue Cliff Monastery, and they want to make a documentary of Thay's life. But particularly, they're interested in the part when he stayed in New Jersey at the Princeton Theological Seminary, and also he stayed at Pomona Lodge in Camp Okanagan in New Jersey, and also he studied at Union Theological Seminary and at Columbia University between 1961 and 1964. So I look without coincidence, I happened to be at Pomona Lodge in 1998. I was helping to build a local sangha, and one of the local sangha, there are 6 local sangha. One of them is the Buddhist sangha of South Jersey in Medford. And we did read about the Palm Fragrant Leaf, Thay autobiography, and we decided to organize a day mindfulness at the Pomona Lodge. So I did go there in 1998, and I was aware that there was a big camp for children. The children camp very large, maybe 40 lodge or something. So we did at the main lodge, and during lunchtime, I sneaked out and I went to the Pomona Lodge just to see that, okay, I know this is there. And I know Thay said that he interacts with the children at Cherokee Lodge. So by curiosity, I went to the Cherokee Lodge too. And I said, okay, yeah, it's there. So what he said in the book is very true, it's happening. And I quickly come back to the day mindfulness in the main camp. And I kind of forget about it until now it happened. So I remember I was at Blue Cliff and I talked to the Sangha, monastic brother. I say that I've been to Pomona Lodge. Someday I'd like to take the Sangha there. And nobody say anything. Everybody was busy doing something. I think only Thầy Pháp Khôi, I think he did mention, he said, yeah, I'm interested. But that's about 8 years ago. So now it's happening. I think I can do it. The filmmaker, of course, they read the Vietnamese version of Palm Fragrant Leaf. So they know that is the spot they want to shoot the video for the documentary. And of course, the Princeton University. I also went to visit the Princeton Sangha in 1982. At that time, I was very active with the local Sangha with my friend David Dimak. I didn't know that Thầy studied at the theological seminary. I thought he was studying at the Princeton University. It is a special branch of theological for the people who study theology. So it's not a part of Princeton University. It's separately held. But I was there, and at that time I remember I went to Albert Einstein's house to visit, because Albert Einstein is my idol. I love him, interested in physics, and also he's a good humanitarian as well. And then also the part about Columbia and Union Theological Seminary, I use the term UTS to make it short because it's very long. So I've been at least 5 times to the school. In 2017, the Union gave an award to Thầy, and Sister Annabelle, I think another few sisters went there during the US tour. I didn't go there at the time, but out of that, they create Thich Nhat Hanh School of Engaged Buddhism. So they start to have classes, and they ask that whenever they have class, that we, the monastic from Plum Village, come and give like a day of mindfulness on a practical side of practice of mindfulness. So I know I was qualified because Sister Không came in August 2022. She wanted to come to see the official of UTS, so I set arrangement for them to see them, and she would talk there. And also, I told Sister Không that in 10 days later, I'm going to give a class there, because that was pre-planned. But she said she couldn't wait because she had to come and leave, you know. So 10 days later, I came back. I gave another talk at the school there, and then I thought it was finished. And then September 10, they have a republication of the book Lotus in the Sea of Fire. They want Pháp Dung and Sister D to come and give a talk for the republication by Parallax Press. And Greg Snyder, the director of study at UTS, wrote the preface to the new publication. Thầy Pháp Dung and Sister D say that they are into the winter retreat, so they don't want to come. So they call Blue Cliff Monastery. They ask if some monastic want to come. I say, okay, you know, I just been 3 times already, so I can come another time, no big deal. And then recently in I think May, when we have opening at the Harvard School for TNS School for Mindfulness Engagement. Also, Sister Không went to the US one more time and give a talk there. So I was there all those time. So I think I was prepared enough to be the guide for the 2 filmmakers. What I didn't know is create the stress of being a producer. Apparently, the producer in Vietnam couldn't come to the US, and she couldn't speak English well. So I have to handle logistics with the local official. And for me, that's a real big hassle for me. So I asked Thầy to help me to find the path. I searched for the website Pono Lodge, and I found out through different things that at least he was a camp counselor for children between around June 24th until August 24, 1962. The reason I know because they have some documentation that show his stipend from the Institute of International Education, which is a precursor to Fulbright scholarship, to help him to pay for his pocket money or something like that. So I went there and I looked for my friend, Walter Lyon, who was with the Buddhist Sangha South Jersey, who organized the Day Mindfulness. asked for his help, and he connected with the former cook at that time he was there. And we find out how we can come. Can we somehow reserve a place or something? And they say, well, you can rent a place. I say, okay, yeah, we rent for a day. So we arranged for the day. Then the Princeton Jericho Seminary, I still don't know it much. I don't know anybody because it has been 60 years. So I know around 2007 or 2009, I don't remember, we went on the tour with Thay. And I think probably from DC driving back to Blue Cliff, Thay decided to stop at the Princeton. And there were a few of us in the bus. I think around the time, I don't know who organized it. I'd like to know more about it. Apparently, it wasn't planned because Thay just showed the lobby where he hang around with the student. And we remember we ate lunch in the courtyard outside because we couldn't have access to any building at the time. And of course, the University of Jericho, I already mentioned, we went to the Butler Library too. They couldn't get us 2 times with Sister Không. And also we know from his diary that he stayed at room 306 West 109th Street. So we went there, and also we know that another, they call the American Buddhist Academy. Now it's called Buddhist Study Center now. And Thay was fasting for peace back in those days when they have oppression of Buddhism in Vietnam. And I learned some more from the diary, though. I remember Thay mentioned on October 13, 1962, he went there to pray for the memory of his mother. That was 2 days after his birthday. And he talked about the American Buddhist Academy. So I decided that would be the next stop for me to, when I guide the 2 filmmakers. So we were on a tour, okay? Beginning of August, we have 2 big retreats here. And I do the opening sharing for the English-speaking retreat as well for the tour. And during the time, I was trying to get information about how I can organize for the 2 filmmakers. And then we land in Magnolia Grove. And a few days later, I saw on a website, August 25th, that the librarian called Caroline Bradnover, after the request of several students and teachers, she decided to investigate it, and she opened an exhibit on Thay as a seminarian. So I said, wow, that's incredible. And so I contacted her right away. And, series emails and all kind of things. And then she connected with another librarian named Brian Shetler, who at the Princeton Theological Seminary where they study. So through the registry, I was able to find out that actually when Thay registered at the UTS, he used an address at 508 West 114th Street. So now I'm figured out that he probably stayed there between August 24th until the beginning of September. And then, according to his diary autobiography, he said that he doesn't like a lot of noise and crowd. So he met Stephen Hadley, who studied under the same mentor, Dr. Anton Zygmunt Serbu. So they clicked together somehow, and they decided that Stephen will rent an apartment at 306 West 9th Street. And then Thay moved there with Stephen. So in the official diary of Pan-American Leave, it mentioned only 306 West 109th Street. And we have some plan I reserve for a later day when it would announce. We have a petition to add another name later on. It's been in the process here. So I know from, I started to contact Brian Shetler. I don't know what kind of archive he has, what kind of picture, and how we can make an interview, so we come and visit him and maybe shoot some video from a filmmaker. And so we decided that we can rent it on October 24th, which is a Tuesday, after we came back from the US tour. Then I contact Brian Shetler to arrange on the same day with the Pomona Lodge as well. So because the two of them are about an hour drive from each other. And then I set up an appointment with Carol Bradnober on Friday, October 27th, to go to New York City and to go to all the buildings in New York, Tyson. And then I heard suddenly that my sister passed away on August 28th, which is 3 days after I received that news. And then I said, well, I'm on a tour. What can I do? Can I give support to my brother and sister? So I called my sister. I explained that it's so hard. I tried to get the flight from Memphis. I have to go to Chicago. Chicago, I have to DC. DC, I have to go to Paris. And then I have another flight to Geneva. That's too hard, And it's like $3,000 flight or something. So I decided not to do, and I wait until the end of the tour. Then I will come for the 49-day ceremony. And then I fly back just in time, October 9th, and then get ready for October 24th with the two filmmakers. So for me, I was holding those information in me and try to practice being a present moment reading. So it was a challenge, to say the least. And I have to concentrate on all those information. So I was using Thai biography. Đi gặp mùa xuân is a Thai new autobiography in Vietnamese. It has a lot of information. And of course, the Nẻo về Cũ Ý, which is the Vietnamese part of Palm Fragrant Leaf. And on prominent website, also Thai autobiography, and also the research on Carol and Brian material. And I was digging up more material, including the master dissertation Thai wrote at Columbia University. And I ran for the 2-day, October 24th, October 27th. And then October 7th, I will go to the second place of Thai stay, the American Buddhist Academy, and the first place was Thai stay, the Butler Library, the Burke Library. And on the bonus side, we went also to the Riverside Church after that. So when I went to Princeton Theological Seminary, I was surprised that they have so much information on Thais as the seminarian. Apparently, there was a series of librarians who keep meticulous record of the document when they were there. And I planned to stay about half an hour. I ended up staying about 1.5 hours looking at every document there. And there are so many things, but I think 3 things that moved me when I look at that. So I think the first is there was an article when Thai published in 1967 the book Lotus in the Sea of Fire. And there was another supporter who wrote a nice article. They called the monk who cannot be silent. And there were a clip note on top of the document. And it says, President McCord, did you read this announcement? This is our bow. At the time when they registered at Princeton, he used his passport name, which is Nguyễn Xuân Bảo. And I think the original was Nguyễn Đình Lân, and then later on, but he didn't go by the name Thi Nhất Hạnh at that time when he studied at Princeton. And this at least could be in alumni news. And they say in any case, it should go into his dossier, with his file. So that's exactly what they did. They saved the record to be in the file. So to me, that was touching because they have supporter there at the Princeton Theological Seminary, and admirer too, at the time. And the other one I saw, Thầy old envelope. It was torn. Somebody took a stamp out of it, but you can see the front and the back, and it was Thầy handwritten, addressed to the director of study at Princeton University, and the back they have Thầy address at 243 Sư Vạn Hạnh, which is the address of Ấn Quang School. And to me, that means that Thầy went to a lot of effort to submit various documents to get his scholarship to come to the U.S. and also to be accepted into Princeton Theological Seminary. So this is not like a coincidence. Thầy really make an effort to come to the U.S. to study. And the other one, I think, back in 1970, they come from the president of Princeton University. He wrote a letter of recommendation saying that Thầy has credentials. He studied at Princeton University, at the UTS and Columbia, so he could be representative of Unified Buddhist Church and at the Paris Peace Agreement for negotiation. Thầy wanted to be a third party besides whatever other party was negotiated until we got the agreement in '73. So to me, that means that Thầy also have a lot of supporter, a lot of sympathizer to help in his plight. And you can see here to the Dean Horan Gausen, and I think it's 1961. And in the back here, from Nguyễn Xuân Bảo, 243 Sư Vạn Hạnh Street, Chợ Lớn, Sài Gòn. That's the exact address. It's still there in Saigon. And this is the note I was talking about. President Accord, have you seen this announcement? He's our Bao. This could be alumni news. In any case, he should go into his dossier. And I think I have the full letter because they have I told Brian just to keep the stapler, don't take it off. Yeah, the voice that could not be silenced. And you can see that Horan Hauser, he read it and he checked mark. Back in those days, we don't have attached email, so when I was working in the bank, also they passed a series to a director and vice president, and with the name, and we have a check mark that we read the article. And so this, when Thầy published the Vietnam Lotus and the CFI. So remember that title, we're going to come back later. And this is the registry. And we went to Princeton University. Our brother sister went to the Brown Hall, and we have an exact room 319. So the next time we go, I think we can go to the room and just check the room. Of course, it has been 60 years now, so. But he is our teacher. And this is Thầy when he was at the Princeton Theological Seminary. This is from this gentleman. Apparently, he was a camp counselor at Pomona Lodge too. So he took a picture. And this is probably Dr. Kenneth Chen, one of the Buddhist scholars who gave a few lectures at Princeton. Thầy wrote that he feels very inkling with this gentleman. And this is the Thầy picture at the Pomona Lodge. And then this is various official. So basically, Thầy studied for 2 semesters. And at the end of the semester, they closed the school. So Thầy didn't have any place. So somehow he got arrangement to be a camp counselor at the Pomona Lodge in Camp Okanagan. So that is exactly at the Pomona Lodge area. And the other one is the registry at the UTS, which is Union Theological Seminary in New York City. And I can see the address here is 508 West 114th Street. So that's when I took the brother sister there. The brother sister didn't understand why I was taking there, because it was not on the book. But I know that it's there, and even room 817. And to back up, they have a 243 Silvanghan Street, with the name of the root monastery where they are. Most of the people have two addresses: the apartment where they stay in New York, and the where they belong to. So when they study there, so that is under Nguyễn Xuân Bảo UTS here. And you see, this comes from Columbia University block of Carroll. So the whole time I was holding the information in my chest, I was practicing giving a tour with the whole Sangha, drinking tea and everything. But I gathered information the whole time, and I found out the logistics, how to organize the filming of the documentary, the timing, the location, the duration of each, what is permissible, what is not permissible. I encountered a lot of obstacles. There are a lot of red tape bureaucracy that make it very difficult. And I say, well, what Thầy do? And to me, the most I hold the spirit of Thầy when I meet with official. So I will represent Thầy, and also, and then I find out what is how many people can I bring. So I try to play the logistic. I never enter into the Pomona Lodge, but I kept to about 40 people. So I have signed up with the brother sister, whoever want to come. For the UTS, it's more limited difficulty, so I limit to 18 of them only. And then I have to provide how we can provide food, lodging, car driving, share, things like that. And how about people getting lost in New York City? And I asked the help, a librarian to help me and to overcome the difficult official. And then when I talk to official, who's going to translate for the Vietnamese filmmaker, who's going to take picture for me? So I have to arrange the photographer to come along with me. I asked some of the monastic, but they go on their own, so they couldn't be there when I need them. We have 3-car driving over to Princeton University, and the 2-car sister got lost. They came 25 minutes late, so I couldn't depend on them at all. So I have to plan every 50 minutes a location, and then after that, I let it be, because that's all I can do, And all things went very well, beyond expectation, despite some setback. So I anchored the present moment meeting with Brian Shetler first, and he said he allowed only 4 people to come in archive because the room is very small, and he wanted to protect the archive. So the rest of the people can stay outside. Luckily, it's a very large library, so people can hang around. And then I say, there's a lot more important document, but I'm in contact with my elders at the Hermitage now, and they want to study those documents first before maybe they can have an update to the new Thầy autobiography. And the Brown Hall and the Princeton campus are so beautiful. We have a lot of pictures. Brother sister really enjoy them. And for me, it's of course emotional at the Pomona Lodge and Cherokee Lodge too. And we have a lot of pictures too. So for New York, so I arranged, I have a whole schedule of, we have about 2 hours to walk mindfully through the street of New York. So we start at the Thầy apartment, official apartment in the Palm Falcon Leaf, and we went to American Buddhist Center, and then we went to Rugger Hall at the Thầy first residence, and we went to the Butler Library where we met with Carol Bratnober at Columbia University. Then we went to Burke Library at the Unitarian, and finally we went to the Riverside Church. So this is the one that I decided to come to American Buddhist Study. It used to be called Buddhist Academy, but now it's called. So I chart the address. I know how long it takes to walk. It's 5 blocks from Thầy apartment. And so this is when I met with Dr. Brian Shetler at the Princeton Theological Seminary. This is the first time we met them. And this is Carol Bratnober. at the Burke Library. She worked both at the Butler Library and the Burke Library. And he's met in front of a Library of Columbia University. She said this is not the library, the real library at Butler Library. But we met in front of the step. And so this is, she will open the door of Burke Library. So in kind of sense, she opened and welcomed us into. The reason we have a lot of difficulty, when we mentioned that we are going to shoot the video, the director facility like hit alarm bell, and they say, no, you cannot allow to shoot movie, because what happened if innocent bystander and they don't want to be in the picture. So you have the special permission. They don't allow us to go in the Butler Library. So luckily on that day, Carol talked to Peace Treaty and to the President Cyril Jones, and they make exception for us. Before they asked us to give our passport name, every one of them, and they're going to give individual pass that allow us to go into the Burke Library, but not to the Butler Library. But somehow Carol worked her magic, and she allowed us to come in without any pass. So this is Carol here, and this is one of the film producers. He was taking a picture of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Dietrich Bonhoeffer is a human rights German, and he went back to Germany to fight for human rights, and he was imprisoned by the Nazi and was executed. So Thay wrote in a biography, he was very moved when he listened to his story. So from the regulation, like at the Butler Library and the Burke Library, we're not allowed to take any picture without permission of any people around, which means there's a lot of people. So it's kind of hard for us to do it, and we cannot enter the building without private pass. We have to bring our ID to match with the pass that we have with our real name, and everyone to have a special pass, and also consensual agreement, especially at the Promenade Lodge. I think at camp counselor, apparently there was some sexual abuse case. So they're more stringent. They need to check our background. So we have to provide the background for everyone who come to the camp, just for them to check first. We told them that we live in the community, so we have self-regulated, so everybody in the community have already been checked the background, at least. So in the end, Brian Shetler waived all of them. We are free to walk around Library, Brown Hall, the campus, no problem. There's nobody at the gate to put on lodge to verify ID. Basically, we were late for 2 hours, so I don't think nobody can stay for 2 hours to wait for us. So we're free to walk around Promenade Lodge, no problem. We ran for the whole day. Carol Bradnoble waived all the requirements, no pass. We just follow her. We went to inside library. We couldn't take picture inside the library, of course. And Peace Treaty guide us to a confined garden where we have lunch. We have no interaction with anybody, so we can take a picture. And I have a private talk with Carol Bradnoble and her research student for about an hour before we get. And we went to Riverside. It was closed. They didn't let us in. And the property manager came, and they decided to open up and get us in there. So I think that was very wonderful to have people have an exception to the rule regulation and allow us to come in. So you can see I chart the thing I gave to the sister, to the brother. So we went to the first apartment first. We went to the American Buddhist Center. We went to the second, when Thay registered UTS. We went to the Butler Library. We went to we get our visitor card. We went to Union Theological Seminar, and we went to Peace Treaty, maybe President Cyril Jones. We have a lunch break. We have a courtyard, and we visit the Burke Library, and I have a private meeting with Carol Bradnoble. So when Thay at Princeton, he wrote a reflection at the Princeton, and I think there's an article on that too. So this is when we republished the book Lotus in the Sea of Fire. So you see the connection at that time was the note. It was Lotus Sea of Fire, and we decided to republish, and we went to Union Surgical Assembly there. And I think there was a program there on November the 1st. And also, my class at UTS, also it happened to be at the Union at September 10. And guess what, September 10, what happened? In 2001, I decided to come to New York City on September 10, one day before the two planes jumped into the World Trade Center. And the evening of September 11, I went to the Riverside Church in Union Surgical too, with the Sangha. So there are a lot of coincidences. I'm not sure what happened, you know. And so this is at the first talk of Sister Chan Khong. I was there. But there was that lady there, very interesting. At first, I didn't notice her. And then later on, we went for dinner with Lilia Clemente, one of a Filipino financial kind of manager. We have a dinner with her. And in front of the apartment, we took some picture. And suddenly, this girl come along. We say, wow, I met you. Can I take a picture of you? So we took a picture together. And I got an email, so I sent her a copy of the picture. And later on, she said, well, you know, I'm a niece of Dr. Paul Lauter. And I remember I saw the picture of Dr. Paul Lauter, and I will try to get a copy of it I sent to you. So this is what she gave to Dr. Paul Lauter, a copy of this photo. And on Mount Florence paper, it was taken in 1966. And Thay was in Chicago discussing peace work, and Dr. King was meeting with the American Friends Service Committee. And remember, I meet with the 15 Cherry American Friends Service Committee in Philadelphia. That's the headquarters of American Friends Service about housing staff. So I got the privilege to introduce the two of them together. So we have a picture of Thay and Dr. Luther King at the Magnolia Grove Monastery. But what, unbeknown to us, there is a third person who introduced the two of them. And this happened to be the father-in-law of this lady whom we met at the UTS. And this is a better picture of him. He was a secretary of Fellowship Reconciliation at the time. He was under Alfred Hassler, who is a very good director of Fellowship Reconciliation. So this is the picture in front of, they call it 304, 306, but the 4 fell apart. And also, coincident also, this is Leora Amira, and you see here, that's Audrey Kwan. She's just ordained as a monastic in Plum Village about a week ago. And that's a picture of her in front of Butler Library. And at that time, Sister Chan Khong was still in a wheelchair, and also that her helping out. So that what we organized with a lot of lay friends to come and help us to all those things. So this is at the Princeton Theological Seminary at the Wright Library. So I was looking at all the documentation that they provide, the table. And here's the filmmaker, the two filmmakers, and that's Brian. And this is the Pomona Lodge. It's very large. It can hold about maybe 50, 60 people. So hopefully we can organize a day mindfulness there. And that inside we were reading about the Thay diary. Thay wrote a famous book, A Rose for Your Pocket there. Yeah, and that's, I have a clear picture at that time. I got through Facebook, actually, from Camp Okanikin. Here's a clear picture. So when Thay was a Pomona Lodge, that's how he looked at that time, in 1961, the summer of 1961. So you can see, I went through a lot of difficulty to organize all the things, and it turned out to be like the the spiritual ancestor arranged to help me. So I'm very glad it went smoothly. And my personal story at that time, where I decided to went back to Switzerland to for the 49-day ceremony of my sister, and we cleaned up her apartment, and I found out in her closet she inherited a lot of pictures from my mom, and my mom saved those pictures. I didn't see those pictures. After I ordained in February 2003, my mom to come to visit me in around May 2003. I remember there was the Francophone retreat there. And I think somebody took a picture and she kept in her closet until she passed away. She handed it over to my sister and she kept it. So I never see this picture before until I cleaned up the apartment of my sister. But the whole time I would carry my mother and my father with me inside. So that's it. How much time we have? So another thing about serendipity, I didn't realize until I find out later on, in 1998, I went to a retreat organized by the Willow Brand Sangha. And there was Sister Annabelle and Sister Tok Ngim. And after the retreat, they say that they have a public talk at the Riverside Church, which is the one that we went last. And I volunteered to go with them because Sister Tok Ngim has a problem carrying her luggage. So I took a train from, I think, Delaware or New Jersey to New York City. And we went into the Evangelical Seminary. And Sister Annabelle, Sister Tok Ngim has a room because she reserved in advance. I didn't have any room. So Sister Annabelle asked the property manager to let me sleep in the closet for one night until I called my friend in New York City to come and pick me up in the morning after. So actually, I was in UTS in 1998 too. So talk about serendipity. That was very interesting. So I think I feel lucky in a sense. I'm a slow learner, so I keep a low profile more or less. You know, there are many elder brothers sisters who give wonderful Dharma talk or something, but somehow through my personal history, it interacts with this happening, and I think to me it is so much coincidence. It couldn't be real. It's something. It seems like I feel right at the right place at the right time to provide that. And I think Sister Ding Yim told me that she has some reservation about publishing all these things because she needs to review with the elder brother sister because they are trying to have a renewed autobiography. Every year they come up with a new autobiography. Right now there are a lot of effort to try to find out more detail about our teacher life, especially in the U.S. There was another effort at Swarthmore University about the peace documentary about Thay work since 1966 until he went to France and things like that. And we have more. I hope to work together with Dr. Brian and Dr. Carol to find out more information. Carol said that she has 4 boxes of letters from Dr. Anton Sigmund Serbu and Dr. Horace Fries, the 2 advisors to Thay at Columbia. But she was alone. She couldn't find enough time to find out whether they have any correspondence between the 2 of them. So she enrolled the class, and she have 2 students. And so I was talking with them. Hopefully they can dig out some more information. And Dr. Brian Shetler also have four helpers at the Wright Library. But they investigate other things. They did not investigate just about our teacher. They have a lot of dignitary at the Princeton Theoretical Seminary that they need to study and find a file on them. So I'm glad I'm able to get off my chest to share, because I hold so much information that it's hard for a lot of people who don't understand what I went through for the last 2 months to do that. And now I hope to write a few more articles about it and my experience. So with that, I just want to stop here and thank you for your listening. Thank you. So we can listen to the free sound of the bell.
So dear Thầy, dear communities, please take this moment to unfold your leg.